Baltimore and WNST. And we thought Beasley Reese was going to be a part of this as well. But, Joe Pisarcik, I've never met you. I've seen the video that everyone has seen. I collected your football card when I was a young lad.
Wow.
I was such a football fan in that era. I was a Houston Oilers fan and a Baltimore Colts fan. And it's good to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
It was fun just reading your wiki because it was distant memory that you played in the CFL. And I knew you were somewhere in the Philadelphia area, but I didn't know you and Baldinger and Cosell, you're all like neighbors up there, Marlton and Cherry Hill.
It's the Northeast, man. It's like Pennsylvania, the Northeast up there where football is. And,
You go to Eagles games?
Once in a while. Don't go to a lot of football games. It's like I'd rather watch them home on TV.
Like everybody else. That's a big problem for the league right now.
Being president of the NFL alumni keeps me kind of going during the week and getting stuff involved. So going to the game and hanging out is okay, and I like to. I mean, I'm a fan of football. I mean, so I like the Eagles. I like the Giants. I played for them both.
Right.
I think they're good teams. I like seeing Atlanta getting there now. I mean, a younger team, something different. Matt going in there. This guy's been a good ball player for us, for the NFL. Good.
Flacco's a local kid.
Flacco's a great guy. I mean, Ron Jaworski and Flacco he's part owners of a golf club, right 5 miles from my house.
So you have
no
idea about my bromance with Joe Flacco and how much I have to defend
awesome.
Joe. So you're like, Joe's awesome.
Joe should have you on the payroll at this point.
Dude.
Joe
Flacco is my all-time favorite.
Joe's one
Baltimore
of my favorite
sports,
people, too. I agree with
my
that.
favorite. Does he need to play quarterback better? Yes. He would admit that. He's not here. They are.
No, I agree
But I'm just saying, as far as a human being, I love Joe.
He's a good guy.
Quarterback. Okay. They get too much credit, and they get too much ridicule.
You're gonna get serious now.
It is like, if – that's why football is the best sport in the world. It's a team effort. If you're not doing your job and you're not doing your job and he's not blocking and he doesn't run a 15-yard out, he runs it at 12, the timing is off, the quarterback looks bad because he throws over the guy's head out of bounds, and there you have it.
Sure.
But we got to organize everybody to do the correct thing at the right time. And the quarterback usually gets too much ridicule or too much praise when things go great. Oh, he did it. Because the average fan, everybody watches the ball. He threw that pass a little bit behind him. He did this or he did that. Joe Flacco is a great quarterback. Joe Flacco is one of the top. He has a great arm, and, they just need to put a little bit better people around him and to make it happen. First of all, I played golf with Joe many times. He's a great golfer. So the one story, he comes out.
Oh, here we go.
He comes out. Ron Jaworski's a very good friend of mine.
Can we get a beer? Or is it possible? Come back after 5. It's happy hour.
Ron is the chairman of the board of the NFL alumni. Does a lot for charity. Ran golf tournaments. Now we do stuff together. I mean, he is, has a great foundation there, and plus he's involved with the NFL alumni. So he brings Joe out. They're partners at this other golf course, but we're playing at Ron's other course. So here's Flacco. Now you're playing with Joe Flacco. I'm a little bit intimidated. Plus, he is the nicest guy in the world.
He is.
So unassuming, so this,
has
so
a pretty
that.
good sense of humor, too, that most people don't
get. Has
Has
that quiet kind of, like when he says something, it counts.
Yeah.
And it's funny.
If he knows you, ball busting is like fully on. I mean, Joe's got Jersey in him, and he's funny.
We're playing a tournament. I'm playing with him and Jaws and whatever. So we're at this one hole, little dog leg left, down to a little ravine, and there's like a creek there, and it's like 280 to the creek.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, I hit my driver. I can't hit it 280, but I hit it down there. It's down there about 260 or so, rolls down a little bit. So Joe brings out a hybrid. I go, Joe, he goes, I'm all right. He hits his hybrid, comes down, rolls down the hill, whatever. He's about 12 feet from the creek. He hit a hybrid about 270 yards on his par 4. Next shot, pitching wedge, one bounce, goes in the hole for an eagle. I go, wow, Joe, you play a lot of golf. He goes, it's my 3rd time this year. He shoots 75.
I play a little bit.
And he's like, It's my third time this year. And that's the first sentence he said for 4 holes because he just doesn't do that. So we play in a tournament. My son now is a big Ray Lewis fan.
Okay.
You heard of Ray Lewis?
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Okay.
He wasn't bad.
So
He's
by
got
the
a
way,
chance of getting in the Hall of Fame next year.
yes, he does.
Yes.
By the way, Jake, my son, happy to say, proud to say, well, he's a senior at University of Oregon, plays right guard for them.
Quack, quack.
Been there 2 years ago. Was in the first game out there where they lost to Ohio State, but he was still in the first game. They went to the Rose Bowl. Had a good career, great education. It's great to have him there, and so he's there also. And this is like when he wasn't there. This is like 3 years before he went away. So he goes ahead. Hey, Greg. So he goes ahead and he meets Joe Flacco before we teed off. So he goes ahead and meet him. So after we play the golf, we come
Pull
off.
back for me, Joe.
Come after.
Greg Cosell's coming in because
Hey,
I
Greg.
want to break this story up. I just want to be able to get Greg on in the video
Definitely.
too. Back up a
Definitely.
little bit for me, Joe. Keep going. So go. Keep going.
So after we play the whole round of golf, he comes there. So my son's coming off. He goes, hey Jake, how did you shoot? And my son looked at him like, okay. And so afterwards, my son goes, Dad, Joe Flacco knows my name. He remembered who I was. He was so. But that to me, that's Joe Flacco. That's the way he is. He's down to earth. He's a great guy. He's a great quarterback. He may not be the best thing out there, but I'll take Joe Flacco any day, anywhere.
Greg, back up for me a little bit. I want to get you my shot here because we're live on Facebook Live. Just back on up for it. You're a good-looking mug on.
Oh, jeez.
You listen. So he said.
I got a face for radio.
I've never met Joe Pisarcik. What do I need to know about Joe Pisarcik that I don't know? Because this is a great guy. He's
a great guy.
This guy's coming back on the air. He doesn't know it yet, but I've enjoyed the first 10 minutes here. There's going to come a point where I'm going to have beer. I don't know what you're going to drink, but I'm having beer with you.
We could have a
because
beer.
I like you, man. This is fun for me, right?
Absolutely.
Greg, what's going on, man? Tell me something I don't know.
Tell you something that you don't know?
There's a lot I don't know.
I'm told you know everything.
No.
That's what I'm told. I guess I was, I'm like Humphrey Bogart in Casablanca. I came for the waters. I was misinformed,
Wow, man, it's gonna go downhill for me. Is it the hat?
Well, the hat is
hat.
It's interesting.
Well, the hat.
Washington, he can't really get to Washington. He can't get to Philly, so he hangs in the middle. You know what I mean?
Now, you're the president of the NFL alumni,
Yes,
right?
sir.
It's interesting how everything.
Said Ron
We
is
see each
our
other at the
chairman
same
of the
gym.
board. Yes.
Yeah.
But he works so hard for NFL Films. The guy is diligent. He's going to get a statue there of him in there also. He's there 24/7, hasn't time to work out.
A different personnel package on every play and a different formation on every play. And I think you're going to see him probe and research Bill Belichick's defense and see how Belichick will match up to each personnel package and to each formation so he can put that in his memory bank and use that as the game progresses. Because that's one thing Atlanta does exceptionally well. Everybody talks about how New England doing that really, really well. Everybody talks about New England doing that exceptionally well. But Atlanta does that really, really well, too.
Dick Vermeil's getting a hug from Joe Pisarcik. I'm losing guests around here. In the case of the Falcons and weapons and the way they've spread the ball out, you've always seen Matt Ryan as very, very capable and likely of being at some point in this game. You've always believed he can win this.
I've always thought Matt Ryan was a really efficient, smart player. And on Kyle Shanahan's system. And I think because of that year, people started to view him differently. Right. And then he came back and had this phenomenal season this year. But I don't think he's played any differently, essentially, since he's come in the league, Nestor. He's a very efficient player, not a power arm, not a gun, but great sense of timing, great sense of rhythm. I like the fact that he's an aggressive thrower. Every once in a while, he'll throw a pick that you scratch your heads. But I would rather a guy be an aggressive thrower, and he is.
Luke, go for it.
Well, let's talk about the Ravens a little bit. We were talking with Joe about Joe Flacco a little bit. And, Greg, I wanted to get your opinion on not just Flacco. We've talked about him, but the decision to retain Marty Morningwig and his body of work as an offensive coordinator. Your thoughts on him?
He's back?
Yeah, he's back.
Oh, because wasn't there a report that
there was it was quite a surprise.
Oh yeah, no. That's why when you just said that, I'm thinking, what did I miss?
It was. Oh. I think it was one of those things that was widely assumed that they'd make a change, and they elected not to. And I think I think they put some feelers out, but they decided to.
I personally think I like that, and I'll tell you why. And I know Marty, so it's there's a personal relationship.
Sure.
So, but the reason I think, regardless of who it is I think there's been a lack of continuity in their offense over the last couple of years, and I think you need to develop some continuity. And whether you guys think Marty Morningwig is the guy or not the guy, that's not the question.
Right.
I think you need to go into the offseason. Joe could speak to this as a quarterback.
Yeah.
I think you need you need a sense that, okay, Joe Flacco knows what the system is. He knows the concepts. Now they can do repetition with those concepts. They can expand off the concepts, and it's more comfortable. Now, I don't think Joe had his best year by any means.
No.
I don't think the pass game had a really good year, with very few exceptions. The Miami game comes to mind.
Sure.
And all they did was throw the ball.
Right. Oh, no, they didn't run the ball in that game at all.
They didn't run the ball all year.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's what I mean, across the year.
But I think continuity, and I think any coach and a quarterback would certainly tell you that when you start changing schemes and concepts on an annual basis, it's just too hard to play.
To key that in, that's why New England is where they are. they plug and play in every wide receiver. He can't make it somewhere. Now this number 15, this kid
Hogan
comes in. 2 touchdowns, 8 passes, 9 passes, 200 and some yards. Who the heck is Hogan?
He's a kid from Jersey.
2 months ago, a couple teams cut him. But that's what he does up there. He has the offense. It's systematic. It's run efficiently. It's run very efficient.
That's
your
job.
What they do. Exactly. The linemen, the receivers, certain depths get open. It's a blitz. Okay, get rid of the football. Don't hang them out there. That's what makes New England tough. They control the football. And I have to say, I'm not going to say the defense is overrated. I never said that of the New England Patriots. But I think it's a little bit, because of their offense, keeping the ball for a long period of time, controlling the drives, and then once the score gets up there, it gets a little mismatched. I have to throw the ball.
Right.
It's late in the third quarter. It's 24-10. I need 2 touchdowns to tie here.
That's a great point.
I got to take some chances.
Yeah.
I got to make some turnovers. Now the ball gets out of. Things get out of hand.
Because quarterbacks, this quarterback, you're down. New England scores a lot of points, and you get down in the third quarter by more than 2 touchdowns, and the mindset of the quarterback and the entire offense changes. You now have to, as a quarterback, make some throws you might not make in the first quarter, because 3-yard gains don't do a lot of good.
And the defense knows what you're doing.
Of course.
That's it.
And that's why they're probably number 1 against the run, because who's running the ball when you got to get touchdowns? Right. No one. So I like I like Atlanta. I got to say, I like Atlanta. I like the youth that they have. I like the experience of Matt Ryan right there, who hasn't been here, who's a rookie in the game, but he's been there and he's done that. He's an intelligent guy. They got a nice group around him. That guy Julio is not a terrible wide receiver.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
He's decent.
Can make some plays. The running back has surprised me immensely too. His name escapes me right now. Number 3.
Freeman.
Yeah.
And the thing,
very good.
The other
back.
issue, and I think it'll be a big factor in this game, are Freeman and Coleman as receivers, because that's one thing that they do exceptionally well, and both those guys can actually split out and be detached from the formation, and that's one of the areas I think that Kyle Shanahan will really probe, to see how New England will match up to Freeman and Coleman out of different offensive personnel packages when they're split.
Joe, I got to let you get out of here. I'm going to hang on to Greg. It was really nice to meet you, man. If I can help you guys in the alumni in any way, feel free to reach out. And I'll honk the horn right between exit 3 and 4 when I'm going up to New York.
Will do.
And you'll
nice
hear
you
it.
guys.
And,
Greg, great seeing
Joe,
you again.
all right, man.
There you go. Joe, take a card,
Thank
man.
you.
It's my pleasure. Joe Pisarcik here on behalf of Premier Regenerative Stem Cell and Wellness Centers. And I want to move Greg on over here. We're going to continue this thing here. Luke, I know we love to talk directly about football with this guy, and no one's better. I got to put this thing down. We got a whole mess going on. Here we go. The Patriot thing, 17 years into this, how much of this do you recognize from 02, 04, 06? How much has it changed what they try to do? It feels to me that it doesn't, but you watch more of it.
Well, early on, they were not really Tom Brady's team the first couple of years. They were a team. They ran the ball. They played great defense. I mean, you go back even to their second Super Bowl win, which I believe was Carolina. I think that was the second Super Bowl win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Philadelphia then was the year after that.
Yeah. I mean, even Carolina, you talk to people and they'll talk about that defense being so big and so physical with the Willie McGinnis and the Ted Washingtons. They had a run game that was very solid. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Brady was just a piece, but they didn't play with Brady as the focal point back then. Clearly, over time, as Brady got better and better and better, and I think they would probably – I think there were stretches in that year where they beat Carolina where they started to feel that, hey, Brady could be that guy that you could hang your hat on, and that might have been sort of the turning point season where, hey, now Tom Brady, we have a special guy here, and we can ride him, so to speak. But clearly, even though they've had games where they've run the ball really well, this is Brady's offense.
Greg Cosell joining us here from NFL Films, and tell everybody what you're doing, off season, and breaking stuff down. There is no more off season, right? I mean,
no.
We move right. I'll see you at the combine, right? And that feels like a week from now, but it is a month from now. And then we get on up on the draft. This is, for a guy that breaks down film, it might even get heavier this time of year, right? Looking at
well,
college.
I've started a little bit watching some college guys, and that's what I'll do for the next couple of months. Is I'll start going through and the college players. And hopefully I'll get to do 250 to 300 guys. There's always a guy you miss here or there, gets in the league, and I wish I had seen him play in college. And I'm not.
But you don't watch a lot of college football like during regular life,
I don't.
right? I mean, on a Saturday you're not watching Purdue play.
No, I'm not. And Saturday's really my only day off during the NFL season, so I'm not necessarily in front of the TV just watching college. So I do see it sometimes, but I try not to do a lot of that. Because I really like seeing a guy that I really know nothing about.
Right. So this kid shined at the Senior Bowl. You really don't want to know that.
I didn't. You know what? First of all, during the Senior Bowl, we're still doing matchups. That's why I've never been to the Senior Bowl because that's a big production week for us on the NFL matchup show. So I don't see the Senior Bowl practices. So I couldn't tell you, who did well, who didn't do well. And I'll have the opportunity if I choose to look at those practices at NFL Films in our system. But, I didn't see it live. So, I don't know.
In the case of matchup for this game, give me a little primer. The three things fans need to be watching besides, the party and the dip and the shrimp cocktail.
You're talking about the Super Bowl?
Yeah, this game. This little game we're playing here. How do you see the game unfolding?
Well, I mentioned one thing that I think will happen early with Kyle Shanahan and that offense and probing and researching the Patriots defense to get a feel for what they do. I guess what I'm very interested in on the Patriots side, everybody is assuming, and I am to some degree, that the ball will be in Brady's hands. But one thing that was the answer to that, he could come out.
There's no script for this.
No.
Yeah.
But he will have a script. It's just we don't know we have no idea what it is.
It'll be unique.
Right. So, because I think they have run the ball well. Believe it or not, they've run the ball better out of three wide receivers with Blunt, which might be a surprise to a lot of people, than they have out of tighter personnel packages like with the fullback, James Devlin. So we'll see. But that's one of the things, Nestor, I'm really anxious to see what New England does offensively.
We talked about offense and defense and bad snap. Ball goes over Manning's head. You're crazy.
And I would get to a film. And it was back in the mid-'90s, so, it was the Aikmans, the
Wow.
Favres,
a lot
the
of Hall
Steve
of
Young.
Famers there.
Yeah,
Warren Moon,
Jim
right?
Kelly,
Okay.
Great. I love those interviews, because all those guys were relaxed. But the point I'm making is I asked Troy Aikman about getting in a Super Bowl and the need to feel like you want to do more. And he said, in fact, for me, because I knew what kind of player I was, that was not a big issue because I was, in so many words, and this was 20 years ago, but I'm phrasing and trying to remember that's such a good system. He's so efficient in it that what you don't, if you're Dan Quinn and Kyle Shanahan, what you don't want Matt Ryan doing early in the game, let's say, is thinking that is not really what you do.
Historically, he's thrown a lot of interceptions, though. I mean,
at times, the numbers. He has that. There's a perception that he has at times, but he's also had some years where he hasn't thrown many at all.
This is one of those.
Right.
This game. You want a question? I mean,
all the way around. I mean, and as good a kid as you would ever meet. Yeah.
And boy, he was good this year.
Yeah, really good against the run.
Yeah.
Very, pass coverage probably could.
Yeah, but I mean, for
a guy that was
third-year
guy, absolutely undrafted, no doubt.
Yeah.
But Greg, I guess my question, and I asked you a little bit about Marty Morningwig and Joe Flacco, and continuity there, I think can help. But when you look at this team over the last couple of years, I think there's been a prevailing example. I think the Ravens 3 have an edge, Joe Flacco.
Right.
So I guess for me, where are you with the Ravens as far as the pecking order in the AFC? I guess.
Yeah, and I think you make a good point. I mean, I think they're hoping, and he's going into the Browns, so that's not an apt comparison.
Right.
But I think they're hoping, and I don't want to say Julio Jones because now we're talking about the best in the league, arguably, but skill set wise that he'd become that kind of player stylistically.
Right.
Big, fast.
Big plays.
Yes.
A difference maker.
Yes, that's what they're hoping.
3 times a game doing something.
And this becomes the year when that has to happen. If it doesn't happen this year and he plays all 16 games, then you got to say, hey, it's probably not going to happen. That doesn't mean he can't be part of your team, but he's not that guy. The tight end situation, they've drafted tight ends, and it hasn't quite, those guys – Max Williams, Herb, and they have players who I think they believe can provide those dimensions, but they have not been provided yet by those players.
And then what happens? You go
well,
8-8.
then we're having a different conversation next year when we're here at the Super Bowl.
Well, I mean, and that really, and that's implied almost like in a Sopranos scene. Made the playoffs.
Right.
We haven't been in this position. We have an organization where the same guy has picked every player in the history of the organization over 21 years. At some point, it will come to an end. I don't want to see Ozzie go out the side door. He'd be out of work 5 minutes. Same thing with John Harbaugh. But at some point, 4 out of 5 years. This year becomes...
Well, I think this becomes a really important year. And
the owner said the pitchforks were out.
We're not saying anything out of school here. They've been out of the playoffs 3 of the last 4 years.
Sure.
And this is a team that won a Super Bowl, with the same quarterback. So, I mean, they're looking at this as, we're not rebuilding here. We have a quarterback that's won a Super Bowl.
Right.
We have a lot of quality players, like you said, Luke, relative to other, we can debate that.
Sure.
But, I mean, they have quality.
Yeah.
This is not
you
an
don't go
expansion
8-8
type. This
Right.
is not an expansion type roster, So
they're not the 49ers.
No. So I mean, I think in their mind, with a couple of young players developing, which you have to hope when you draft guys high, and ideally with a good draft and maybe a free agent signing or 2 that enhances certain positions, that this team is right back in the hunt to win 10, 11, 12 games and be a playoff team.
Fair enough.
You done with him? Anything else?
I think so.
All right, we're going to class
I had to
dismissed.
throw a little more Ravens into the mix.
Hey, it's always great talking football with you. I'm looking forward to seeing what you have on the draft. And what are you doing publicly during the draft stuff? I mean, shows, anything like that leading up to draft day or combine?
Well, for the draft itself, I do a lot of stuff with the Eagles for their website. So that's normally what I do during the draft. Leading up, I just grind away watching and hope
learning.
Maybe someone thinks I maybe know what I'm talking about every once in a while.
I think we've established you know what you're talking about. He is Greg Cosell. You can follow his journey out on Twitter as well as anywhere the NFL Films brand is located, including the Matchup Show. We're down here at Super Bowl 51. We're in Houston on Radio Row. Luke and I hanging out. You can find me, Nasty, at WNST.net. We also have our London road trip going on as well. We are WNST.net, AM 1570 and WNST Towson, Baltimore. And we never stop talking Baltimore sports.